How was my aim? Was it okay?
It was a little bit too good, as I seem to.
I mean, this film is super physical. Like, you had to ride a horse, and this, you know, there's no special effects. You were on that horse. How was that? Because you had to massively gallop and ride and do all that stuff. Like, how was that?
It was very, very painful. That's what I seem to remember. I remember I had to take like 5 baths a day because my muscles were so painful. But I managed to not fall off the horse, which I was very pleased about. Thank goodness.
No, you rode very, very well, and were a true prince. I mean, Dougray, you were the only one who could have helped us make this film in that way, that this was such a lesson of how we didn't have to dismiss the other gender in order to empower ourselves.
Yeah, I think it was ahead of its time, the movie. I remember reading it and thinking, wow, this is really quite forward-thinking. And it's a movie about empowerment and giving all these young women around the world who were going to watch the movie a sense of a great example of how young women don't have to, you know, look up to men in order to be led and to be set an example of, and they have the ability to, you know, to take control of their own lives. And I think that your character really was such a wonderful example of that. And I thought it was a thoroughly modern film, and I was just really happy to be part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Melanie, I mean, what was it for you? What was like a tone or a shouldering of a responsibility or anything that inspired you? Like, how did you enter into helping create this world as we all kind of banded together and took hands and were like, all right, let's make this?
I mean, I was just in such immense gratitude about getting to do this film with people I just admired so much. And this one, you became like my sister and hanging out in our house in the woods. It was so fun. And you just inspired me every day. Angelica really was so giving and gracious and just taught me so much and was so loving. And our dinner parties, the French nightclubs, and remember we danced on the bar one night and they were like, mademoiselles, and they made us get down.
Yes, of course I do.
The grot.
Yeah. Oh my God, I mean, we really did. We had the best time.
The best time.
You know, and Megan, how did you not go archetypal and make something really extraordinary out of your character?
Well, this was my first film. I had only really done theater projects up to this point. So I think Angelica deserves a ton of credit for really kind of taking me under her wing and saying, you know, stick with me, kid, we got this kind of thing.
I'm just so glad that we were all in it together. And it's so true about Angelica. And I have a little story about, I was in my kitchen and we were talking about who could play this, you know, very infamous role. And there weren't all these retellings at that point. Like, this was a very sort of unapproached kind of genre. And so, like, who could step in as, like, the famous stepmother? And I really wanted it to be Anjelica Huston. And I think there was, you know, like an impasse of maybe she wouldn't be able to do it, or, you know, could it work in her schedule, or did she even want to? And I remember just going, screw it. I'm going to find her phone number and I'm going to call her. And I got her on the phone somehow. And I said, you know what? For your dad, John Huston, and my grandfather, John Barrymore, who you know partied here on Earth and are somewhere up in heaven keeping it going. Barrymore, Huston, Barrymore, we've got to do this. Just for the men in our life who have set such a tone for what we're supposed to be doing here on Earth, let's honor those two men by being these two women together. Are you with me? And well, she did the film, so... And Megan, is it true you saved something from the film? You have something? You have a relic? A thing?
I do. What do you have?